Good afternoon. I will start with a fragment of a short film just made by Tamar Guimaraes at the Reina Sofia, a film that was made with the people of the museum, and the dialogues belong to the internal dialogues we had with her making the film. So it's 15 seconds, sorry.
Y me veo para hablar con el jefe y proponerle cosas.
Pues dile que es de una chiquita nueva. Tú le dices, le he dado mi confianza porque yo creo en la confianza de las personas, porque yo soy así, de la nueva institucionalidad. Y luego asume que soy una torpe, que no soy una experta. Díselo. Hay que decir la verdad.
Okay. I just wanted to quote Beatriz Velázquez to think on the idea of the non-expert as a key figure to imagine what could be this other institutionality or this new institutionality. For Henri Lefebvre, in the book The Production of the Space, he says that the principles of institutions are repetition and reproducibility. Repetition, as Zdenka also said. I would like to take Fred Wilson's work of Meaning the Museum and all the questionnaire he wrote about it to question and imagine a non-reproductive institution and a non-repetition institution, but a repetition of becoming, not at the institution of the black box of cinema, not even the white cube, not even imagine the transparency of internet and social networks, but the possibility of an institution that assumes the object, the possibility of contagion and the place of becoming, confronting the disciplinary structure of the institution. With the idea of the dark room, instead of this white cube and the black box, I would like to propose the possibility of reinvention and eroticization of the institution from three starting points that I will develop now. Those points that belong from different tradition, even contradictory, taken in form by feminist and colonial or post-colonial theories. Firstly, I would like to imagine the institution as an architecture of desire that is able to escape disciplinary instruction, choose assuming the object space of deviant desire or same-sex desire, a queer space, a perverse, useless, amoral, sensual, experimental, and obscene space. That queer space, as Aaron Betsky said, and I quote, instead of reference to buildings or paintings, instead of a grammar of ornament and syntax of facade, here was only rhythm and light. This is a place of a hidden geography of the architecture that responds to the normalization of the space. It is just a place of liberation in Foucaultian terms, as a political space of transforming living conditions of modern societies. As Spanish artist Pepe Miralles says, darkness, it is the needed ally for sexual interaction. Light is heterosexual. Darkness, it is the habit of vampires. The creasing area, then, are areas as a possible space of freedom, in this Foucault's term, assuming the insecurity of public space, and in this sense, I have the question in which sense the public space in this insecurity term can be recognized inside the museum as an institution, in which sense the museum can be a public space. This work we have here, it's Roberto Jacobi's Dark Room that was presented at Reina Sofia in the exhibition called Desire, Rise from Collapse. It was presented at the vaults of the museum, so it was also a dark room downstairs there, and include a series of videos recording the performance that was held for a sole viewer in a complete darkness, visible thanks only to the night vision camera. In this way, connect with another project presented at the exhibition Losing the Human Form, that is Miguel Ángel Rojas' Faena series, that is a series of photographs that he took at the Faenza Theater in Bogota. We have to think also that the dark room, it is not only this kind of creasing space. This is another work of Miguel that it is part of Reina's collection, but it is also the place where to reveal the photography. So the dark room has also this connection. This connect also with another US photographer, Alvin Baltram, with this Houston River Dogs that was presented at the Manhattan Mixed Use exhibition in 2010. Coming to, this is part of Alvin's work. Coming back to nowadays, Andres Senra is working on a project called Creasing Commons and Queer Psychogeography for the next year that Madrid will be the World Gay Parade, etc. And we are organizing a sort of critical approach to that. What Andres is trying to propose is the idea of the body of the other and your own body is a place of the commons. Like how to imagine the experience of our body as a place of interaction. And also the museum as a place of interaction of bodies. This let me connect with Elmgren and Drasted work that they have done many settings of places of creasing and dark rooms. This in particular was one of those recreations that tried to be just like the original, and they convert the Galería Helga del Alvear in Madrid into a masculine sauna with the performance for the opening with the own user of a regular gay sauna. And finally, in this sense, I wanted to mention Felipe Rivas San Martin piece, the Cabin, where he make a shift into a southern version of this idea of a creasing as a park, or the public toilet, into the cyber coffees as places also for interaction, of social interaction, like thinking this sexual interaction also as a sort of social interaction. This is the very first sense where as I understand the idea of the dark room. In the second level, I connect with Lucy Irigaray's, the French psychoanalyst, idea of the opacity and the phenomenon of the labyrinth, proposing in her book, Speculum of the Other Woman. Irigaray's proposed a reinvention of the experience of the interior of the vagina. The speculo of gynecology breaks with the universality of the gaze of the masculine view. The tactile experience that never have an overview, but it's always partial. Woman art, in Irigaray's word, and I quote, the opacity, yet not differentiate, of sensitive material. For me, the Irigaray's idea connect with this very well-known performance of Annie Sprinkle. It is, but it's not the DM at the end. Public service announcement from 1992, where she showed the interior of her vagina in the gallery space. We have to remember that she used to be a prostitute, and she entered into the art system through her vagina. That connect also for me with her more recent works, where she proposed the idea of the gallery space as a place where we can make love to the earth, so we can have sex with the earth in the gallery space. This connect for me also with the post-porn scene of Barcelona. Here is Maria Percances and Jordi Flecos, a performance called Arte en Ano, that is at the same time art in the anus and art and little art. That was a show where she was changing in her anus the artwork she was showing, so you can see different representation in her inside of her anus. In this sense, I wanted to go further on Irigaray's idea of the vagina as a place of complexity, and also imagine how the anus could be a key place of contemporaneity that had been privatized by modern medicine. Foucault, in his History of Sexuality, he tells how the anus had been absolutely put it out of the world, so nobody talks about the anus. And it is something that had been reinvented, but like other artists like Ron Astor or Mario Kismi with this sound sodomite, there is an S missing there, what come out of my ass, where he has inside his ass the music you could hear. Then continue with the Irigaray's idea. I can think on the invention of an institution that assume the place of the contemporary chaos and the becoming of the interior, all of that things that had been always put it on the back, and I mean the vagina and the anus, and that may be productivized as a revolt to Western logocentric and ocular-centric experience of the museum. So the museum should not be just a place of think and a place of look, but a place of experience from those object spaces. We have to remember that Irigaray criticized Derrida's critique to logocentrism, as he did not assume it is intrinsic masculine perspective. The phenomenon of labyrinth, then, on the opposite, does not assume transcendental meanings and the perception as truth. The femina vita, as Irigaray said, hide the truth and assume the second place, the second sex, traditionally postposed. It is the reinvention of a talk from pulsions before the symbolic language, against the beauty and clarity, the precise definition, and the perfect forms. The dark continent of femininity is a lack or absence. The reinvention of the informed and the memory of the fluid, the milk, the tears, the menstruation, against the solidity of masculinity. Then we are talking about a gaze that it is informed by desire and its sensuality. And to finish, I would like to imagine also this idea of the dark room from Silvia Rivera Cusicanqui's concept of the teje, that is an Aymara's word, that is a place where white and black, or Western and indigenous, can never give birth to a pure color. The teje, in Rivera Cusicanqui's theory, makes the opposite, not submitting one to the other, but juxtaposing concrete differences, an image to sing the coexistence of a heterogeneous element that doesn't produce something new and close. It is also a way of understanding this as a becoming. If Walter Mignolo, the post-colonial theorist, take the idea of the dark side of Renaissance, with Cusicanqui, we have to place the place of encounter as an insoluble problem. And to end, I just wanted to connect Silvia's concept with Pedro Lash's installation called Black Mirror, and one of those mirrors, it's also called Language and Opacity. And for me, it is a clear representation of this, this possible space of combination without having any solution, not trying to find the truth, not trying to find a final end, but always being in recognize the conflict and living from that conflict, where he made this connection of pre-Columbian sculptures with modern European painting. Just to finish, I would like to question again how not to only deal with the representations of this kind of sexual or racial dissidency, but how to transform from there the own logic of the institutional space, how to use it not as we have an image of Maria Percances, for example, but how to imagine a dark room of the Western hetero-Renaissance, how to imagine that position. It could be maybe the idea of an institution that hosts the danger of desire and the risk of contagious, confronting the modern disciplinarity and the assumed neutral hygiene. That's all.